Welcome back, everybody. Today we will learn the basics of magic and ranged combat in Foundry Virtual Tabletop for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition by experiencing a real battle. We begin our adventure on a narrow path many miles from town. Our 3 players are outlaws that stole 100 gold crowns from the tax collections office in Altdorf. They are on the run from the authorities, and a squad of state soldiers are in pursuit. At sunrise, both groups collide into one another. In the southern corner, you have 5 brave Empire soldiers armed with crossbows, shields, swords, and handguns. In the northern corner, you have 1 deadly witch, 1 slippery thief, and 1 road warden deserter. Who do you think will win? Make your bets in the video comments. Begin this combat. So, ranged combat is different from normal combat. You cannot use a ranged weapon unless you have the specific skill for that weapon. Talut has the ranged bow skill, which means he can use a bow and cannot use any other ranged weapon. See page 297. In this case, Talut's going to knock an arrow and fire it off at the swordsman. It's a short bow, has a -10 because it's fired at long range. If you want to know what the range is, go to combat, go to range, and you can pick, you can find out what your range band is. Here. Misses. Next is going to be the crossbowman. There are 2 special ranged weapons that you can use without having the specialized ranged skill. You can use throwing weapons and crossbow weapons, but you lose all qualities and keep the bad flaws. In this case, the crossbowman does not have the crossbow range skill, and it keeps the reload flaw. It doesn't have any good qualities normally as that for the crossbow, so for that particular crossbow, so it's no problem. Firing off the crossbow, 20 modifier because it's short range. It hits. You cannot dodge a ranged weapon. You can only oppose it if you have a shield of rating 2, or if you're within point blank range, you can dodge or use a melee skill to oppose. Those are the only 2 situations where you can oppose a ranged attack. Otherwise, it's unopposed. You either use a shield, or you'd use a melee skill or dodge if they're within point blank range. Point blank range is equal to the range of the weapon divided by 10. See page 159. Hits, apply the damage. This could be the other crossbowman. This time the crossbowman's going to step up out of the trees, and because he moved, he is going to have a slight modifier to his attack. Same thing goes here, fire, and it's going to be difficult because he moved. Ooh, it's a very killer attack though. Virgil is wounded. Eloise. Okay, for spellcasters like this witch, it's important to remember that wearing armor reduces the success levels of your spell by 1 for each armor point on the location with the most armor points. So for example, if Riddell was trying to cast magic, she would reduce the success levels of her magic by 3 because her body has the most armor on, and the armor totals up to 3. In this case, Eloise doesn't have any armor on, so she goes around unimpeded. She's going to fire off at this crossbowman and cast the dart spell. Bit of damage. In this case. So the swordsman is going to move up, and 16, that should be right here. It's going to throw a ranged weapon, and like I said before with the ranged weapons, you do not need the specific range skill to use them. However, you lose all qualities, and in this case, there is a quality that is lost, that is the Impale quality. You don't get it because you don't have that skill within ranged throwing weapons. So go here, Javelin, -10 because it's at long range, and fire. And it misses. There's a fumble and a scatter. So let's see what the fumble is. 76, you mishandle your weapon or you drop your ammunition. You miss your next attack. Okay, let's make a little note of this. We'll say that he is engaged. And he's not actually engaged, but that's just a note that he mishandled. He loses his next action. Okay, and then the scatter means where does it go? So you drop the javelin at his feet. Next is the handgunner. So the handgunner has a black powder weapon. For black powder weapons like this handgun, you can use this weapon like normal with the ranged black powder skill as well as the engineering skill. See page 297. Essentially, you can use either skill for this weapon. And he's going to take aim with the handgun and fire it off at Talut. Here, and fire. 28. That is a killer attack. How much? 12 damage? 17 damage. That would be a kill shot. Talut, I think the only way you survive is if you use a point of fate. You haven't used any fortune. A point of fate to mitigate all that damage. Handgunner is going to go over here into the tree. Next is going to be the swordsman here. Swordsman's going to move up 16 yards and throw his javelin at Talut. And he should have gotten a -10 for that, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to a -10. Just go ahead and change that to 10 there. Unfortunately, it still hits, and it's going to take some damage. He's almost toast. Last but not least is Riddell. Riddell's going to take aim with her hand crossbow pistol. It's -10 because it's long range. Firing it off. 37. Oof, that's a miss. She's gonna use fortune to reroll that. She only used 1 point, so I give her back 1. Fortunately, misses, so she's done. Next is gonna be Talut. All right, he's almost toast. We will fire off at these swordsmen. They're the most immediate problem. Firing off the short bow there. 60. Oh, it's a critical. That's good. In this case, the swordsman's going to try to oppose with the shield. Try to block it. Unable to do so. Takes some damage, and the critical applies. What is that critical? Crushed elbow. Ouch. Take some damage there. You immediately drop whatever was held in that hand. And it's the right arm. It's the dominant arm, which means he drops his javelin. Okay, so he still has his hand weapon. Splintering the bone. He gains also a major arm injury. It's a right arm. I think he's got it. If his elbow is crushed, I don't know. I don't see how he could pick up his sword. So I think this guy is pretty much going to run away. Talut, though, is almost toast, so he's got to move back. He's going to retreat. Crossbowman is going to try to reload. He needs at least 1 success level in order to reload because he has the reload 1 quality. He fails. Same thing with this crossbowman. He's going to try to reload. Fails. Alright, Eloise. Go here. Target with magic. Use a dart. Oof. It's going to be a fail. don't want that. Do you want to use fortune to reroll? Success. Excellent. And we are going to go here, here, and oppose with target, not opposed. Attack. And she's going to back off into this tree here. Yeah, hide behind the tree. Swordsman here. He loses his turn, I believe. So we are going to, yes, miss your next action. So let's go ahead and get rid of this engaged symbol. And he's done. Next is the handgunner. Handgunner is going to reload his weapon. It's a bit harder to reload. No dice. Next is the swordsman. He has a crushed elbow. I think the most realistic thing with the broken arm, crushed elbow, he's not going to be able to pick up his sword. He's going to retreat over here. Riddell is going to target this guy with the crossbow pistol, fire it off. He misses, she misses, and she's going to back off over here. This is going to be Tolut. Tolut is going to step out of the tree real quick, fire at the swordsman, short bow. It's going to be a difficult shot because he moved. It's going to be a good shot though. Critical success. Swordsman does try to block. This guy's taken 2 criticals. Oh no, he fumbled the last one, did not take a critical. 85, a major chest wound. Oh my goodness. Ouch. Take 4 bleeding conditions until you receive surgery to stitch up the wound. Any wounds you receive to the body, you also inflict 2 bleeding conditions as the tear reopens. My goodness. Okay, so I think he's quite afraid. Toulut's, but also Toulut's really afraid too. He's get over there. Crossbowman, try to reload. As you can tell, the reload quality does slow these guys down. That's the drawback. Crossbow reload. So I think Eloise is going to try to hit the swordsman while he's down. He has a max range of 34-ish for the dart. So she can use it. Just check the range. Yes, 34. And swordsman's going to try to block with the shield. Unfortunately, applies damage. He's toast. Or, not toast, but he's very, very wounded. He's going to back off here. Anyone would back off here. It's like, no question. Handgunner's going to try to reload. Okay, and swordsman here is going to go over here. And he is going to be retreating from the battle, but he's just gonna stick over here for the time being. Wait for his soldiers to finish up the job. Riddell, okay, so Riddell's seeing that two of the 5 state soldiers have retreated. It might not be hopeless anymore. She's gonna move over here and just take total cover behind the tree. She's gonna use a special ability that everyone has access to. It's going to be on the defensive. And in this case, she's going to... Stealth doesn't work. So... she is going to take out her... No. She can't do that. So she's just going to take total cover behind the tree, just trying to stay out of sight while she's kind of sneaking up on these guys. Tolut is also going to do the same, hiding behind this tree. Crossbowmen, they gotta reload, otherwise they're not gonna have anything. And they apply 4 bleeding. He's unconscious now. The bleeding just got him. And the reloading didn't succeed. Say soldiers might be undone because of their reloading. Nope. Okay. Eloise is going to move forward and fire off a dart here. Actually, no. We have full advantage. Let's go ahead and use an arrow. Since we're only up against 2 crossbowmen and a handgunner, she's going to activate arrow shield. Do a little preparation. Oh, minor miscast though. Ouch. Casting successful, but there is a minor miscast. Okay, minor miscast it is. Fell Whispers. Pass a routine willpower test or gain 1 corruption. Okay. Here, willpower, which is right there. And it's routine plus 20. Succeeded, so nothing happens. Next is going to be applying the arrow shield. Nice. Apply Lore of Witchcraft. What does that do? Each time practitioners of witchcraft roll on a miscast table, they also gain 1 corruption point. Further, you may inflict 1 bleeding condition on anyone targeted by the spell, so I'm not going to inflict bleeding condition on myself. Okay, so not going to read the rest of that, just for the sake of time. But unless there was an ingredient used, and it talks a little bit about the ingredients, but yeah, essentially I'm not going to do the bleeding condition unless it's mandatory. In this case, it'd be I don't think it's voluntary, so I have to gain 1. But I think the bleeding condition is voluntary. Miscast table, gain 1 corruption. Channeling requires a minor miscast table roll unless you cast with an ingredient. I didn't cast with one. Ingredients are cheap. Okay, that's fine. And then you can also scavenge for these ingredients with an outdoor survival skill. Okay, cool. So she's done. Next is going to be the swordsman, who is like toast right now. So next is going to be the handgunner. Please, handgunner, you gotta get this reloading down. No. Swordsman is gonna try to revive his buddy, carry him over. Dale is gonna dash out of the trees. She's pretty close to the crossbowman now. He's gonna fire off the pistol crossbow. 14. It's gonna hit. 5 damage. Oof. And then to loot, it's gonna move over here, out of the trees. Now it should have been actually a 39 because she moved. So let's be technically accurate here. 39. That means it deals 1 less damage, which means this guy has 1 more health. Alright, to loot, same deal. He moves, so he has a -10. There, fire. Whoops. Must have selected the crossbowman. Here, short bow, difficult, fire. And it fails. Okay. Next is going to be the crossbowman. I think the bleeding, applied again. Now he's toast. He bled out. Okay, crossbowman. He's at range to loot. He's gonna aim at you. But he didn't reload, did he? Oh, he did succeed on the reload somehow. Okay. It's gonna be 3 damage. It's unopposed. 3 success levels. Oh, I see. It was the reload. Okay, so he's reloaded now. Nice. This crossbowman. This crossbowman is gonna just drop the crossbow, and what's gonna happen is crossbow's now on the ground, no longer available. Drawing the hand weapon. He's gonna go over here. Is it gonna be a charging attack? Yes, it is, because it's between 8 and 16, between the walk and run speed. Here, handgun, charging, attack. Now, can he charge through the tree? I'm gonna say he can. If you can shoot through this little brushy area, you can charge through it. And then Riddell has a pistol out, which is important. But she, in this case, is going to choose the dodge. Okay, and apply a bit of damage to her. Eloise is going to move over here. Oh, whoops. I guess the arrow shield is only within there. In that case, she's going to stay in there, target the handgunner, and use a bit of magic. We'll say the chain attack. Oh, she doesn't have any advantage. Weird. How does she lose her advantage? Is it from the minor miscast? I don't think you lose advantage to the minor miscast. So I'm going to say that she still has the 3's advantage. Doesn't make sense to lose it through the minor miscast. Chain attack, casting it at the handgunner, firing it off. Ooh, another minor miscast. Unopposed. Sour milk. All milk within 3 yards goes sour instantly. Plus, she gains a point of corruption, so she's up to 2. And apply Lord of Witchcraft, bleeding. So what does the chain attack do? Chain attack here. This is a magic missile with a damage of 4. If it reduces the target to 0, it leaps to another target within the spell's initial range and within willpower bonus yards. Okay. So why didn't it deal the damage? Casting failed. Oh, right, because I didn't get the right success levels. Okay, I see. Okay. In which case, her turn ends. Next to the handgunner. Handgunner is going to try to reload here. No dice. Swordsman, still with the broken elbow. Riddell. So normally, you cannot attack with a ranged weapon if you are engaged in melee combat with someone else, with anyone. The only exception to this rule is if that ranged weapon has the pistol quality. If you have that, then you can attack while you're engaged. In this case, Riddell does have a weapon with the pistol quality, and that pistol is the crossbow pistol. So she will attack crossbowman with that crossbow pistol. She's gonna miss. She's gonna use fortune to reroll. She's gonna hit. Now, like I said before, you could use a shield, you can use a dodge, or you can use a melee hand weapon if it's within point blank range, and it is within point blank range. He has his hand weapon out, so that's what I'm going to use. Unfortunately, he was not successful. He takes a whole bunch of damage. He goes down for the count. We're just going to mark him dead instead of giving him the critical. And Riddell, after the shot, is going to move right next to the handgunner. Talut is going to move. Talut's going to stay where he is. Target the crossbowman. Fire off a short bow. Okay. That's nice. And dealt some damage. I also need to apply some bleeding. That guy's already dead. He dies from blood loss. 1 damage to the handgunner. Next is going to be the crossbowman. Ooh, it's in dire straits. Talut is still too good of a target. Fire off a crossbow. 84. Oh, that's a decisive miss there. In which case, he is going to drop the crossbow and pull out his hand weapon and proceed next to his handgunner right there. Next is Eloise. Eloise is going to, seeing that the handgunner has abandoned his crossbow, move forward, target with the crossbow, fire off a dart. No, we're going to do a chain attack again. Maybe we'll do a breath attack this time. $95. Okay, that's no good. Let's go ahead and re-roll that using fortune. 1 fortune left. Aha! It gets a +6, so it is successful, but there is a minor miscast. Gosh, why is there 2? I don't know why I applied twice. Roll twice on this table, re-rolling any result between, oh man, 0 and 91. The next living creature born within 1 mile is mutated. That's crazy. Oh. Gain the prone condition. Apply prone. Okay, she falls prone. Oh wait, I have to, sorry. She's not prone. I have to re-roll it. Effects, not prone. I have to re-roll it once. If it's between 0 and 91, I rolled a 40. 15 blight. Willpower bonus fields within willpower bonus miles suffer a blight. All crops rot overnight. Oh my goodness, that's why they burn witches. But yeah, she is successful with her attack against this guy. So first, she's going to apply the lore witchcraft. Next, the breath attack is going to happen. Here, you immediately take a breath attack. If you had spent, as if you had spent 2 advantage to activate the breath creature trait. Breath is a magic missile with damage equal to your toughness bonus. The GM decides which type of breath attack best suits your arcane magic talent. And you already gained the bleeding. Let's say it's cold. So that means gains 1 stun conditions for every 5 wounds suffered, minimum of 1. And in this case, it's a magic missile with damage equal to your toughness bonus. Toughness bonus is 4. Dealt 4 damage. Sorry, 13 damage. So we'll go ahead and target this guy. Go here. Pose with target. Unopposed. Apply damage. And he's dead. So it doesn't even need to do anything else. Man. Sorry for the state troopers. This is going to be the handgunners. Riddell, gotta do something here. Sorry, handgun, you gotta do something here. He's gonna drop his handgun. And he's gonna draw his sword. Maybe he can turn the tide if he gets a good hit. Riddell's gonna try to dodge. She's successful. Swordsman is now going to run away. He's no longer part of the situation. He's gone. I'm gonna count him as dead, but he ran away. Riddell is gonna try to finish off this hand crossbow. Right there. Handgunner is gonna try to oppose with the hand weapon because he's within point blank range. Unfortunately, he did not succeed. He takes some damage. Salute is gonna be satisfied enough to not fire into this maelstrom. He's gonna go around. Crossbowman, he's dead. Effectively. And Luis is going to move around. Handgunner is going to surrender. And that is the end of the combat encounter. Thank you very much for joining us on this combat guide to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition.